in the state of Maharashtra. He's from a small town, a small village, and he has taken all of these different courses. In small towns across India now, you can take classes to learn English, you can take classes to gain certain skills, and they're really just kind of one-room schools set up kind of ad hoc. But young people, instead of expecting to do what their parents did, are saying, no, you know, we're watching television, we're seeing how the world is changing, we want to be part of that middle class. We don't want to be servants any longer. And so they're actually making those changes and breaking some of those boundaries.
You know, all they need is a roadmap. I remember when I first went into business, I asked the guy who was working with me, what is the toughest one profession in which there's so little competition and I want to go in that trade? And he said, roofing. And that's how I became a roofer. I can understand that if someone can draw a roadmap for you, it's very easy to go in that direction, isn't it?
Well, it's easy if you have the mentality that it's possible, if you have the ambition and this kind of desire to achieve. And I think for a lot of people, for generations, it's been kind of unacceptable to think of leaving your position in life because that's your fate, right? That's your kismet, your destiny, whatever you want to call it. And so what is changing is that there are more and more people who say, I don't accept that.
Yeah.
I want to change it. And it definitely disrupts the social system. One of the points that Girdhar Das is making in his book is that even though there are, on the professional level, these changes happening, often on the personal level, people are still accepting, you know, their parents still choose their husband or wife to be. And, you know, so there's stories in here about how there's a little bit of this split between the old India and the new India. Some things are continuing to happen in a very traditional way, and other things are changing very rapidly.
Part of your life, you depend on your parents. Part of your life, you depend on your wives and others. And part of your life, you drive yourself. And all of this is happening not with the help of the government, folks. This is folks doing it in spite of the government.
Yeah, they're doing this on their own. I mean, they're setting up these little schools. They're learning spoken English so that they can actually mimic middle-class people and look and talk like them. And it does seem to be working.
One of the other things that I want to talk about 2011 is a holdover and a leftover from 2010, which is getting an Indian tourist visa to go visit India for Indian Americans, not for any other country citizens, only for Indian Americans. Even if you're born here, and if your parents are born there, or your grandparents are born there, you got much bigger trouble. You got to give yourself 2 weeks to get a visa. They have been fast. You know, I mean, I keep reading about this in every paper. They talk about protests and fasts have been held at Indian consulates in San Francisco, Houston, Chicago, New York, and even over here in Washington, D.C. No one gives a damn. You know, I mean, we tried to reach out to the embassy and we said, hey, folks, you want to come over? You want to explain? I went so far to say this is the greatest opportunity for the Indian ambassador to shine, or even the DCM. It is a great opportunity for them to shine. They need to be transparent when they make the laws. We invited them to come over here. We made phone calls. We wrote emails. They don't even return the phone call. They don't send an email back. It's as if the concept of the embassy has changed. Ambassadors, they used to come and mingle with the community, and they used to let the NRIs, you know, let them know that, hey, they're there to help them. But here, no siree. That's another ministry called Overseas Ministry. And there's another ministry called Homeland Security that take care of this. They're not interested in it. I have never seen this much uncaring ever.
Well, and I think that Indian Americans have a lot of reason to be frustrated by this. Why do we make it so difficult to get a visa and go home in many cases?
And by the way, they charge so much money. As much as $360 in one of these newspapers that I read for a visa, for a 6-month visa. Used to be $10 if I remember it correctly. But I don't understand it. No one seems to explain it. We want to go spend money. And they, you know, I can't plan because I can't buy a ticket, cannot make a hotel reservation unless I get a visa. And the visa people say, you got to have a ticket and the hotel reservation before you come for a visa. So here we go. I don't know the job of the ambassador nowadays as to how it has changed. But I'll request her that she really needs to take this opportunity to actually talk to the people and say why this is happening and how they can make this go away.
Listen to this headline. The happy marriage is the me marriage. What is this all about? Well, apparently there's been a lot of research as to, how people get married, why they get married nowadays, more looking for partnership than necessarily for the convenient equation of how to create a stable family. Now there's sort of a desire to find someone in which you have a certain level of connection, someone with whom you can grow and change, and that means how you grow individually as well. So in modern relationships, according to this New York Times piece, partners want to make the other's life more interesting. So the issue is that of self-expansion, right? Not that you want to just grow as a unit, but to grow as individuals. What do you like to do? How are you changing, continuing to learn and experience life? And then that's interesting for your partner as well.
So you're saying me marriage in the sense that if I am growing, that I don't need to really be bothered with are we together growing. Just one person grow is good enough.
Well, each person can grow individually, and that's good for the relationship. You don't limit each other in any particular way.
Yeah, because in the old-fashioned, you got to do things together. Now you can do it your way. I can do it my way. Both of us can grow. It's good for us.
Yeah, and then
if we accept it.
And you also take interest in the other person's growth and change. Instead of feeling threatened by it, but who are you? I didn't marry this person. Accepting that that person will continue to change over time and making room for that change instead of saying things have to stay the same for us to be stable and happy together.
That's right. There generally is a lot of competition between husband and a wife. I've seen that. At the same token, if the marriages can have an understanding that, hey, you grow, I will grow, we still love each other, we still as a unit.
Well, I think that